Welcome to the Great Start Podcast, a podcast that brings you up to speed with matters Formula One. So sit in your cockpits, rev your engines, and let's go. Welcome to the podcast, guys. My name is Brian Kibet, a.k.a. your local Formula One guy, and I am absolutely elated to be hosting this podcast. To be in this podcast. It is my first podcast that I have recorded on my own. I have been in other podcasts, but just doing other side roles. But I am very, very happy to be starting this Formula One podcast, more especially in our country, the 254, where we have a growing fan base, and I'd want us to enjoy this podcast together. I'd want us to listen and enjoy and analyze this great sport of ours, Formula One. I have been a Formula One fan for the longest time, since the late 2000s, early 2010s, when Nico and Michael were partnering together in Mercedes-Benz, then just had been bought by Braun GP, from Braun GP. Yeah. We had Felipe Massa in Ferrari, we had Robert Kubica in Renault, we had the Virgin Racing team, with the Jean or Trulli. I think Trulli was in the racing team at that time. Yeah. But all in all, I have been a Formula One fan since then. I still am a Formula One fan 10 years on, following this game, following the races. Absolutely love it. And yeah, let's take this journey to a whole new level. Let's be critical of these drivers together. Let's listen to the team radios. I don't know whether I'm the only one, but I absolutely love listening to team radio, more especially during the race when, we have this action going on. We have this adrenaline in the drivers pumping. Yeah. I don't want to say too much because we'll also talk about it within the podcast. But we have likes like Lewis. Look at Lewis when he noticed that he had made the wrong tire change in the Turkish Grand Prix. Like, you see the raw energy, the raw feelings of the driver at that moment. That's what I love experiencing that. Just some of the things that I love about Formula One. Yeah. So somewhere, I don't know, podcasts don't have comments like YouTube. They should. I personally think they should have comments. But all in all, I actually think that that is one of the best things about Formula One. That is one of the best things about watching Formula One at the moment. And the action, oh my God, the action that is within it, amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm absolutely glad to be hosting this. I'm super, super happy that you're listening to this as well. And let's get started. So coming up next on the Formula One 2021 Grand Prix season, what a roller coaster of a season, by the way it is the Austin, Texas Circuit of the Americas track. An amazing track. It's been a while since we were there. I mean, I think the last time we raced there was 2019. We didn't race in the US in 2020, courtesy of this friend or enemy of ours, depending on how you want to take it, COVID-19. For some it was good, for some it was bad. That's why I say friend or foe. But anyway, we are back. We are back in the Americas, and my oh my, what a race we're anticipating. 20 curves, 20 corners. I mean, I call them curves. Oh my God. 20 corners, 9 right corners, 9 right-handers, 11 left-handers. So we know that there'll be a lot of tire degradation on the front left tire. On average, 56 laps. So well-sufficient laps in order for all the drama, all the excitement, all of us to experience what we love about F1. Personally, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's been a minute since I saw the Austin Grand Prix. It's the only Grand Prix in the US, for those who may not be aware, until the 2022 season, when we'll be having Miami in the race calendar as well. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. An amazing track. An amazing weekend we will have. And I think we can dive into the expectations, the team's expectations, what the teams have been planning. Benz has had a new power unit after the Turkish Grand Prix, when they took a power unit grid penalty for that. And I mean, don't they have straight line pace? I mean, they have amazing straight line pace. I think it was very evident when Hamilton was hunting down Perez in the Turkish Grand Prix. Their performance has definitely increased. And I think right now we can comfortably say that they have a championship contending car. Yeah, at the start of the season, they were a little lacking on pace, a little lacking on straight line speed. The Red Bull was much more superior at that moment. But now we can see that the Mercedes team has come out, has been able to fix whatever issues they had with their vehicle. I know they had probably some power unit issues. They had a little noises within the engine block. I think it's the engine block. Yeah, so really they were able to fix whatever issues they were having at the start of the season. And here we are now, deep into the season. They have a championship contending car. And I mean, look at Bottas's pace in the Turkish Grand Prix. They had amazing pace, amazing strategy. So let's just hope that they'll be able to keep that up in this Grand Prix this weekend. And we definitely are wishing Lewis Hamilton the best. I mean, he did have one of the best weekends in the Turkish Grand Prix. But yeah, such is life, such is thrill about F1. And we wish him the very best as he contends with Max over the championship of the 2021 season. And I mean, yeah, we know he's a good. Everyone knows he's a good. Personally, I'm a Max fan, but I do say Lewis is. I mean, his experience, he's been able to do so much within Formula One to try and build himself as one of the best drivers on the paddock. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to be said about him. On the other side of the table, we have Haas, who are at home. Yeah, it's a first home race in a long while. Yeah, I think actually it's been since 2019 they haven't been at home. So the first home race in a long while, and there's been this trend of teams having special liveries during their home races or during special races. We don't know. I don't know, or rather, right now, during this recording of the podcast on the 18th of October, they still haven't announced whether they will have a special livery for the car that they will have. But anywho, we're still hoping for a repeat of what Schumacher did in Turkey. I mean, he absolutely performed very well in the Q2 performance. He was able to get into Q2. I mean, with a Haas car, that's not something you hear quite oftenly. Yeah, it's a very new concept, very new thing. So we're wishing him the very, very, very best as he goes into the American Grand Prix. And yeah, same for Mazepin as well. Hoping he will not spin, yeah, as people call him, Mazepin spinning. Anyway, back to the top, down there at the Red Bull garage. I mean, we think Christian Horner really concerned about the Mercedes-Benz's pace to the point that he's wondering now what's up. Yeah, he thought he had the advantage over here, but yeah, tables are turning, and I mean, this is Formula One. You cannot predict anything. You cannot say whatever will happen in the next few days. You cannot say whatever will happen in the actual race. So we are seeing Christian Horner, the Red Bull principal, getting very concerned about the pace that the Mercedes-Benz has. And I mean, he has a reason to be concerned ever since they got the grid penalty. They got a faster power. Okay, I don't want to say faster really, but yeah, I think it's very evident that they have a better power unit than Red Bull's team right now. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how it pans out. I mean, an amazing team, an amazing crew, and they've had almost spotless strategies, if you come to think about it, because they haven't had any strategy that has disadvantaged the drivers at any one point. It's just the chance that they've been having, the accidents that they've been having. Let's call them bad luck, as so we may say. But regardless of the situation, I mean, we are wishing them all the best. We're wishing Red Bull the very best as they go into the Austin Grand Prix. Perez was there on the streets doing donuts in the streets of, I'm not so sure which part of the US it was, but still he was on the streets doing donuts. I mean, how cool is that? That's so cool. I mean, I think they should come to Kenya and just do it. Not even a lot. Just come and just do one wheelie or no one donut. That's more than enough. I mean, that is much more than enough. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how it pans out for Red Bull team. But as of Red Bull team, I am done. Let's move on to the Williams. Williams with Russell and Albon recently attending an NFL game. Yeah. How can I say thoughtful is that? Because now we're having Russell, who is moving to Mercedes in the 2022 season, and Albon, who is moving from being an ex-Red Bull reserve driver to a Mercedes junior team, which is Williams, attending an NFL game together. I mean, you don't get to see that as often. You don't get to see that very often. But regardless of the situation, I'm so happy that they are having a fruitful relationship. I mean, they raced together during the karting season. They raced together in Formula 2, in Formula 3. And here they are now in the pinnacle of racing, Formula 1. And I'm really happy for them that they are getting to get along really well. And we are hoping that they continue like that even as the 2022 season comes and the changes and the massive changes come about. They're able to continue holding on to each other really well, bringing up each other, just as they have always brought up each other well. And yeah. On the other hand, Williams has also been awarded a 3-star environmental rating by FIA for being able to implement sustainable processes within their team. So it includes fuel and things like those. So kudos to Williams. I mean, they're really doing well on the sustainability part. I mean, ever since Dorilton Capital came into their team, they've been doing really well. Mercedes-Benz, now their engine provider, engine supplier, so I may say, power unit supplier. So they're doing really well. I mean, we cannot complain about them. As such, they are performing much better than they were performing in the earlier seasons. So yeah, pretty much I don't have much to say about Williams rather than wishing them the very best. Russell has been doing an absolutely awesome job in the qualifying. He's a king of qualifying, so we call him. Yeah, he's a king of qualifying, performs so well in the qualifying. And yeah, I don't know, bad luck during the race day, if I may call it. But yeah, he does very well during the qualifying, but on the race day, he's really not doing really well. Case study, look at Spa. Yeah, he qualified P2, P2, like that's a really good position. Position 2 for a Williams. Yeah, for a Williams in 2021, P2. But then it got to rain on Saturday. So now we are having this situation where he was given P2, the position P2, because now we weren't able to race on Saturday, courtesy of his fantastic qualifying race, his fantastic qualifying position. So, I mean, we're wishing him the very best for the American Grand Prix. Yeah, I mean, we do hope that Latifi also comes up as well. I feel like he's been lagging a little bit this season. But all in all, he's still doing amazingly, still doing really well. And kudos to them. I mean, they're able to achieve such an accreditation by the FIA, an environmental accreditation for that matter. Kudos to them. Yeah. So McLaren now. Lando and Ricciardo. Yeah, it's funny how people say his name as Riccardo, but it's actually an Italian name, Ricciardo. Yeah. So Lando and Ricciardo have come back from the mid-season break with renewed energy. And I think it's very evident from how they're driving. These guys are super quick, super fast. I mean, they're contending for pole positions. Not even just a podium, but pole positions. Look at Lando. Lando has moved from being a point scorer to a potential race winner. Ricciardo has already won a race. I mean, let me tell you, I think it's called a high time. It's really high time for Lando to win a race. He has not yet won a race. The highest position he's got is P2 when he was being in a supporting position in Monza for Ricciardo, who was in P1. He has qualified P1 before, I believe so. So, I mean, he is doing everything right. He is doing everything right. I think it's time for a podium for him. I honestly do think it's time for a race win, actually, not just a podium, a race win for Lando. Yeah, he is doing an amazing job. Everyone at McLaren is doing an amazing job, starting from Zach Brown, who has brought renewed energy into the team. Mercedes, them changing the power unit supplier from Renault to Mercedes in the 2021 season has done them really well. I mean, now they have a championship. Okay, they have a race-winning contending car. Yeah, not really a championship-winning contending car, but a race-winning contending car. And I mean, being a middle sector team, they are really doing well. They're able to beat their rivals, Ferrari, Alfa Tauri, Aston Martin, and Alpine, really, really well. Yeah, they're able to defeat them in most of the races that they're doing. So McLaren are doing an amazing job, yeah. And Ricciardo winning a bet with Zach Brown. I don't know whether you remember this, but they had actually betted that if at all Ricciardo wins a race, then he'd get to drive a NASCAR. And guess what, guys? The weekend is here with us. Yeah, so this weekend we're getting to see Ricciardo drive a NASCAR around the Austin, the circuit of the Americas track, you know, a NASCAR car. So let's wait and see how it pans out for him. Wishing him the very best. Hope he does a shoey. Yeah, hope he does a shoey after racing the car. But really, yeah, I think I'm done with McLaren. So next on stage we have Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Romeo. Wow. They haven't fielded a second driver, man. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know who you think will fill the position really as a second driver. But I have a feeling, I have this gut feeling, it's not going to be a driver who is in the current grid right now. I think it's someone who will come from Formula 2. So it could be Piastri, Oscar Piastri, Formula 2 driver. Could be Zhao, the first Chinese driver on the grid. Yeah, but those are just my thoughts. So just my thoughts, yeah. Why I'm thinking like that is because most teams are taking this structure where you have one professional driver, one driver who has been in the game for a long time, and then you have one new driver, a junior driver, who's now kind of being mentored by the older driver, you know. And we're seeing that in a lot of teams. We're seeing that in Mercedes-Benz, where now they have Hamilton and Russell. Hamilton being the experienced driver and Russell being kind of a junior driver who's coming in for the 2022 season. We're seeing that in which other team? Can I say McLaren? Yeah, McLaren as well, where we're having Ricciardo and Lando. However much Lando is kind of doing better than Ricciardo, so I may say. But Ricciardo is more of a professional driver, a professional guy, and we're having Lando as a more of a newbie, getting to get better as time goes by. Hasn't had a race win yet. Yeah. So really, most teams are adopting that structure, and Alfa Romeo is a team that we're having really high hopes for. Now, more especially that they are getting better. I don't know. I feel like they've been improving over the past few seasons. They're getting better and better, moving from a lower tier team to a middle tier team. Yeah. And from what I'm just about to say, I believe that this may actually help them get better. So, Andretti, the auto racing team that races in IndyCar, it races in Indy Pro, Formula E, is interested in buying a large stake in Alfa Romeo, the Alfa racing team, Alfa Romeo racing team. So I mean, that is a huge, huge deal. These guys are really big in the IndyCar. They're really big in Indy Pro, in Formula E, and other racing titles out there. It's just that they haven't joined Formula One yet. But I feel like they will have a really, really, really good chance of joining Formula One if they buy a good stake in Alfa Romeo. I mean, it's a better way of joining Formula One rather than starting a team from scratch. It helps them evade paying the really expensive fee at the start of the time in Formula One. So really, it really does help them come into Formula One in an easier manner, a better way, and yeah, let's wait and see what happens, because it hasn't been really decided yet whether they will be joining Alfa Romeo or buying a stake rather in it. But they have expressed interests. So fingers crossed they get into Formula One. Put more. They're a big team. They're a really big team, an experienced team. They know how to run teams properly. So their budget will really, really, really be helpful to the team. The budget injection, rather, will be really helpful to the team. And let's wait and see how it goes with the Alfa Romeo team. Now, this week has been the Iceman's birthday. One man, Kimi Raikkonen, the oldest driver on the grid, the most experienced driver in Formula One. So from the plus 254 and all Formula One fans in Kenya, we wish the Iceman a very, very happy belated birthday now that it has come out. This podcast is being recorded after his birthday. But really, it is still within the month. So let's say it's still the birthday month. But we wish him a very, very, very happy birthday. And he's had an amazing time in Formula One. I mean, he races because it is his hobby. It's not that he is being forced to race or really he has to race because he's just a racing driver, but it's because he loves what he's doing. So, I mean, he's having an amazing time, a great time at Alfa Romeo. His last few races, I mean, we really do miss him. We will really miss him. He's won the championship a couple of times, I believe, won multiple races for Ferrari, for McLaren, for all the teams that he's been with, except Alfa Romeo, he's been able to win a race for Alfa Romeo. But regardless of the situation, he's done an amazing job. And let's see what comes next. Whether he'll go back to rallying, I don't know. Yeah, but really, that's it for Alfa Romeo. Yeah. So we go to the other Alpha team, which is Alpha Tauri, Red Bull's junior team. And Tsunoda, oh my God. Did you guys see Tsunoda's performance in the Turkish Grand Prix? Well, if you didn't, let me get you up to speed. Well, Tsunoda was able to hold Lewis Hamilton in the first few laps of the Turkish Grand Prix. He was able to hold him for quite a while behind him. And I feel like that was a really, really good performance from Tsunoda. He was able to hold that position for quite a while. Even when Hamilton was really, really pushing, he was able to hold it for a while. And I feel like that really helped the Red Bull team, who are trying to have Max go as fast as possible, as far away as possible from Lewis at that moment. So as Tsunoda was holding on to Lewis, Max was moving, Max was going, man. And I feel like that was really crucial in one of Red Bull's strategy, let alone Alpha Tauri's. So kudos to Tsunoda. I hope he gets to have a really awesome time in Austin, Texas. Hopefully he will perform better. He's been able to identify his struggles within the Formula One race. He is openly saying that, I mean, it's not comparable to Formula 2. I mean, he was winning races, having podiums almost all races through. And then he moves to Formula One and the change is not as easy. It's not very easy to change. And he comes here and meets guys who are moving, and he's unable to get a podium. So that can hurt your confidence a little bit. But I love how he's taking it positively. I love how he's saying, you know what? He's going there with a go-getter attitude. Like he's aware that there's a problem with probably how he's handling something within the team, how he's handling the approach to the races. So I feel like he knows what he's doing. He knows what he'll do. And we are wishing him the very best as he goes into this Grand Prix. Gasly, oh my God. Gasly hasn't been having the best of weekends over the past 2-3 weekends. He had a retirement. Then in the Turkish Grand Prix, he knocked out Alonso and got a 5-second grid penalty. I mean, he hasn't been really having the best of weekends, and I feel he's like an amazing driver. He is an amazing driver. Getting him back to Alpha Tauri from Red Bull, I think, was the right decision, because he's now been able to find himself, find a spot. And, he's one of those drivers who needs the team built around him. See the way Red Bull is built around Max? Yeah, every process, every single thing that Red Bull Racing team does, is centered around Max. However much Perez is there, most of the processes are centered around Max. What is best for the driver? What is best? And, Gasly is one of those drivers who requires the team to be built around him. So when he's in a team where that doesn't happen, where that can be supported, e.g. Red Bull, where he was, where the team is now really concentrating on their first driver, Max, we see him underperform and we see him not do really well. So I'm really happy that he was able to move to Alpha Tauri for the season. He moved quite early, actually. I think 2019. Yeah, he's been in Alpha Tauri for quite some time. An amazing guy, an amazing driver, and I wish him the very best for the Austin Grand Prix. Yeah, and that sums up Alpha Tauri. Then we go to Alpine. Yeah, where we had a fantastic Fernando Alonso, an amazing driver, humbled down and apologized to Mick Schumacher for the shunt that he caused in the Turkish Grand Prix. I mean, that's very modest of Fernando Alonso. It's very nice that he got to humble down and tell Schumacher sorry. I think it's an act of, shows confidence in what you're doing. It shows that you know what you're doing and you understand the mistake that you did. And it's good to say sorry. I mean, who didn't want to be told sorry, especially after being spoiled for such a good race that he had qualified in. Yeah, he was having such an amazing race. And Mick Schumacher, wishing him the very best as he goes into the Austin Grand Prix. But we're talking about Alpine. So Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. Ocon has been having a fantastic race. I cannot really put him out of the picture. Yeah, he's been doing well. Really, we were expecting him to keep on with the trend as after his win. Yeah, but it's also really tough. You have championship drivers who also need to win to maintain the championship leads. So I feel like he slowed down a little bit on the agility that he had before he won the race. But he's doing really well. Kudos to him. And all the best as he goes for the circuit of the America's Grand Prix. Who haven't we talked about? Ferrari, with our man Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Carlos had a really nice race in the Turkish Grand Prix. Yeah. He won driver of the day. He had amazing overtakes. Amazing overtakes in the Turkish Grand Prix. And now as we enter the circuit of the Americas, will he be able to keep up with the pace? Will he be able to keep up with his teammates? Yeah, I feel like Carlos is a very experienced driver, very good driver, talented. And I mean, with just the right car and the right combination of teamwork, his driving skills, and the car, he can win races. Yeah. And it's high time actually for him to win a race. I mean, we can have the duo win pole and second place again. I mean, it's happened before. We said it couldn't happen again. Or now we could see it inverted where we have now probably Carlos Sainz on pole. But regardless of the situation, they're doing an awesome job down there at the Ferrari garage. And yeah, pretty much so. Now, Ferrari are having an e-spec hybrid system. And this is the first since the Turkish Grand Prix. They used it in the Turkish Grand Prix and it indeed is working out for them. I mean, it's a change that has actually brought positive returns to the team. They're doing much, much better, courtesy of the engines. And I mean, the Tifosi are also there reinforcing the fact that Ferrari needs to win a race. I think it's been a long time since a Ferrari won a race. And wishing them the very best as they go into the circuit of the Americas. I mean, who knows? Leclerc will win this race. He's been so close to winning the race multiple times, a couple of times. So let's hope that he will be able to come up, assert his dominance, and win the race. Yeah. Next, we have Aston Martin racing team. Oh, Sebastian had a major mishap in the Turkish Grand Prix with the team fitting medium tires. How he had requested for them. If you listen to the team radio, he had asked for the team medium tires, and the track wasn't dry. I mean, the medium tires can't keep temperature, and they rely on temperature to get grip. So if you have a tire that's immediately heats up and cools down once it's on the track, now that the track is wet, you'll never get grip, and that is what Sebastian Vettel was experiencing, of which I really did feel sorry for him because it really did spoil his race. But he's been doing awesome. He's been doing an amazing job, much, much better than how he was at Ferrari. And I feel like he's growing with the team, helping the team grow, working with Lawrence Stroll and Lance, to just elevate the team to a championship contending team. Yeah. A race contending team. They have been a couple of times really close to getting a podium, but for one reason or another, they haven't been able to get a podium. So we are wishing them the very best as they go into the Austin Grand Prix. We don't know whether they'll be able to get a podium for this Grand Prix, but regardless of the situation, they have done an awesome job this season, and kudos to them. And with that, we are done with our segment of reviews, the team reviews, and we go to the last segment, which is predictions. So I think, give me the drum rolls, please. Yeah, anyway, I think Max will take pole, followed closely by Lando, and then Lewis Hamilton in P3. Yeah. So what do you think? Who do you think will get the podiums? Who do you think will be P1? Who do you think will be P2? Who do you think will be P3? So how you can comment on this is that I've opened a Discord server for the Grid Start podcast. So you can join the server. The server is called the Grid Start podcast server. I'll attach a link to the description of this podcast. And you can join the podcast and predict who do you think will win. My podium is Max, Lando, and Ham, P1, P2, P3 in that respect. So I think that is how the podium will be. I don't know about you, but yeah, that is my take. That is my take. So with that, my fellow Formula One fans, we come to the end of this podcast. I have been absolutely happy, absolutely elated to host this podcast, my first podcast ever. Do not shy away from DMing me on my Instagram page, _Kibet_Keter, telling me what you feel about this podcast, what you think I should improve as we grow together, as we get better. So you can follow me on my socials, _Kibet_Keter on Instagram. Follow our Discord server, the Grid Start podcast server. And who knows? You just might find yourself winning some merchandise one day, one time, as we grow our community and get better. My name is Brian Kibet. I have been glad to host the Grid Start podcast, and see you all in the Circuit of the Americas.